As we settle into the new season of the Sasol GTC Championship, we're in the City of Gold, Johannesburg. Known as the business hub of South Africa, it's also the home for many of our Sasol GTC drivers who this weekend are preparing hard for round 2 of the championship. Hi, I'm Leanne Paulik, and after watching some stellar racing performances in the opening round in Cape Town last month, I'm sure that the spectacular Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit will encourage more of the same. There's been lots of upgrades and preparations heading into this round, so to catch up on all the latest news from pit lane, here's Richard Crail.
After a lacklustre season start in 2016, Sasol GTC racing teams Gennaro Bonafide started the new championship in dominating fashion, claiming 2 pole positions and 2 race wins at the opening round in Cape Town. However, it was a different story for his main rival and defending champion Michael Stephen, who failed to score a championship point. Despite the unexpected setback, the N-Gen Extreme steerer is determined to not let his car's technical issues thwart his title defence.
I've always taken it weekend by weekend, go out there and try to get the maximum results on each weekend, and at the end of the year, if you've done a good enough job, you're the champion. So I believe the wheel turns, so our bad luck's out, and hopefully we can ride a bit of a crest at the moment. But the other guys I'm sure will also run into a bit of bad luck and that throughout the season. So we'll fight back and hopefully be a championship contender at the end of the year.
Returning to the revamped Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit for round 2, one of the biggest additions to the weekend is the debut of the reverse grid race format in race 2. Seen in motorsport categories worldwide, the GTC drivers are expecting exciting racing for not just themselves behind the wheel, but for the fans as well.
I think it's good for the series. It's going to make it very interesting, and for us drivers as well. A lot of competition, overtaking, and maybe you'll see some door-to-door racing. But yeah, I think for the series it's good, and for the spectators it's very important, and they're going to really enjoy it as well.
Yeah, and especially if you're having a bad weekend, you can still have a good spot for race 2 and perhaps block and still get a good result for the weekend. So yeah, I really think it's necessary.
Also new for round 2 is the full-time introduction of the Dunlop Sport Max soft compound tyre, which will stay for the remainder of the 2017 championship.
Yeah, we're using the Dunlop Supercross tyre from the 2016 championship. This is the exact same construction and compounding supplied by the actual tyre supplier Dunlop. The guys, when they ran the actual Dunlop hard tyres in the 2016 championship, they felt that the car wasn't reacting and it wasn't really a fast enough car to drive. So we did the test with the soft tyre. It's perfectly made for South African conditions. The lap time difference at Kyalami, we're expecting nearly a second a lap faster than the harder tyres. So I think overall it is a good decision for the GTC Championship, and I think the drivers and teams and spectators alike will all enjoy it.
So looking at the championship standings after our first 2 races of 2017, 2 pole positions and 2 wins for Gennaro Bonafide says him our current points leader, ahead of N-Gen Extreme Simon Moss and EPS Racing's Johan Fourie. The biggest surprise is reigning champion Michael Stephen, who has a lot of ground to make up this weekend after failing to finish in Cape Town. Well, we're here in pit lane now with Gennaro Bonafide. Gennaro, a stellar start to the season, and in light of the start you made last year, things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, definitely a much better start to the 27 Sasol GTC Championship. We've came away with a full points haul from Cape Town. Really happy about that. Obviously last year we struggled to get going, only coming strong at the end of the year, but yeah, really happy for the start. What
are your thoughts on your rivalry with Michael Stephen? Obviously he's put his engine woes behind him and should be pretty good.
Yeah, look, Michael Stephen's always a competitor. You can never really rule him out. I've raced with him for 10 years now, and every season he just pulls something out the bag, so I can expect nothing less here today. But again, we're going to push hard as they have been pushing, so I expect us to be pretty close.
Well, we actually did see Gennaro doing very well in Johannesburg last year. He won both of the races here in Kyalami, also Johannesburg local. So let's take a look then at this 4.5 kilometre circuit with our GTC drivers.
Welcome to the famous Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit, with a total of 13 corners and a maximum speed of 222 km per hour on the main straight. Coming out of the technical section, we arrive here at turn 5, Sunset. The reason why this corner is called Sunset is in the late afternoon the sun is in your eyes. Sunset is a very tricky corner as it is blind, you need to carry a lot of speed, and it really does separate the men from the boys. If you get this corner right, you'll have a massive advantage over your competitors.
So leading from Sunset, we've got a clubhouse, it's quite famous for its overtaking. And then we move into the S's, which is quite a physical corners for me. I enjoy it because of its physicality. So we go down to the left. It's important just to keep the car positioned so that you can get a nice entry into the second part of the S, going up the hill. Obviously with a gradient change, it's important to get the car's momentum right. Yeah, and then from there we move into Sector 3.
So obviously after the S's, the run up the hill to the famous Lukorp hairpin, down the hill, down to the mine shaft, which is flat out over 200 k's an hour in these new cars. Into the new bowl, it's a longer bowl than what it was before with a bit of off-camber hairpin. Essential to get on the gas nice and consistently out there. Then the run up to the kink as we stand here, it's a bit of a blind rise. It's quite a dangerous corner with a big sausage curb on the inside. Not a lot to gain from this corner, but I think a lot to lose in terms of suspension. And also if you hit it wrong, it could throw you completely out into the exit curb, which is quite narrow. And then obviously after that, a short little run to the last corner, heavy on the brakes, second gear, and out we go for a lap of Kyalami.
After 3 practice sessions, all of the teams found gains in qualifying. No surprise, though, that Engine Extreme's Michael Stephen was back on the pace. He led most of the qualifying session and was the only driver to clock a time under 1 minute 51. Sasol's Gennaro Bonafide remained consistent in second ahead of Volkswagen Motorsport's Matthew Hodges. In GTC2, Volkswagen again took honours with Keegan Masters claiming his first-class pole position ahead of his rivals Trevor Bland and Mandla Marikane. And great job also by Brad Liebenberg as the fastest Mini on his return to GTC2 since his crash last month. Let's check in with our pole sitters.
Yeah, it was a really good start to the weekend yesterday. We had 3 solid practice sessions, and it was in good stead for today for qualifying. Setup was perfect. We ran the new soft tyres. They were really lacquer, and the car was just on rails. But I think big credit to the team. They put in a big effort over the past few weeks, and it's showing now.
Yeah, no, the race is going to be close because we need to be consistent, more consistent, but Trevor is a very good driver, and I need to keep him behind me because when he's in front, I struggle to pass him.
It's a beautiful autumn day here on the Highveld. It's mild and sunny with a high of 23 degrees. It's time now, though, for race 1 of the Sasol GTC Championship. Let's join our series commentator, Richard Crail.
Yeah, thank you, Leanne. Really looking forward to this, the spiritual home of South African motorsport and round 2 of the Sasol GTC Championship. There's the track, you know it, you love it, it's a great place. 4.5 Ks, 13 corners, an average speed of just over 144 Ks an hour, and turn 1, the kink, at 216 Ks an hour is the fastest point of the racetrack. And for timing references, there are the 3 sectors. Well, this promises to be an extraordinary weekend of racing with 1 round in the books and some very interesting stories to tell. We take a look at the grid for race number 3 of the season. It's Michael Stephen on pole. A brilliant lap on the Dunlop Sport Max soft tyre put him on top by 0.7 of a second in front of the championship leader Gennaro Bonafide. Matt Hodges and Johan Ferree next. Robert Walt, Simon Moss, Michael Van Rooyen and Daniel Rowe rounding out the GTC cars. In GTC2, it's Keegan Masters in front of Trevor Bland, with Mandla Marikane going from 3rd in class. So the lineup for the rolling start at this great refurbished racetrack just outside of Johannesburg. It's fast, it's wide, it's open, and it has all the potential to produce thrilling racing for Sasol GTC. We're underway at round 2, and Johan Ferree has the box seat, the view of the 2 rivals running down into turn 1, the defending champion and the current championship leader, and it's car number 1 who leads through the first corner. Nice move. Bonafide holds on from Johan Ferree and locks himself into 2nd place. So it was Audi, BMW, Volkswagen in qualifying, very evenly matched. The 3 different brands competing in Sasol GTC this year, but a great start from Michael Stephen. Shocking opening round, no points scored. He's got to get on the board here if he hopes to defend his title. Here's Daniel Rowe, he watches Robert Walt spin. All on his own, just lost the rear of the number 41 car and had a half a lose. He'll recover, but he's lost a lot of track position. Here's the GTC2 cars. Keegan Masters with a great start. Trevor Bland, probably the star of round 1. It's an amazing performance by him down there at Killarney. And that's Ian Stevenson pulling off the circuit. He's got dramas in that car and looks like he'll take no further part. Down the hill And then they climb again in this flowing and undulating circuit. And then hard on the braking zone for turn 9. Michael Stephen leads Gennaro Bonafide. Free is next, then Moss, who was the king of the late braking in round 1 of Sasol GTC. Some unbelievable moves. And he and Johan Ferré were inseparable all weekend at Kyalami. And it looks like it's going to be the same here. Look at the Audi. Look at the Audi down the inside. Great move. Just locks a Dunlop Sport Max soft tyre, but gets it stopped. It gets third place away. But I don't think Johan's done with that. Tried the over-under, but couldn't get it done. So the rivalry resumes. They've picked up exactly where they left off after round 1. Volkswagen just in behind them, staying in touch. Then Michael Van Rooyen, great to see him in the mix. He had a really disappointing opening round, the privateer BMW runner, but he's been racy ever since they unloaded here at Kyalami yesterday. Big move down the inside. Mandla Matakani gets the move on Trevor Bland. And this GTC2 class, it looks like it's going to be exactly the same as it was at round 1, which is, in another word, really, really competitive. Here's Brad Liebenberg. What a comeback for the Ferodo Mini team. An enormous job to repair the car after that very, very big crash at round 1. Brad suffered a collapsed lung in that impact. So 3 weeks later, not only has the team rebuilt the car, but they've rebuilt the driver too. He's good to go, and he's right in the mix. Lap 2, back to this fight. The vastly experienced Johan Ferré trying to find his way past Simon Moss, who had a terrific opening round. A couple of really good positions and sits in P2 in the championship. Here's the Volkswagen upside the Rustenberg car. And he'll grab that spot. And speaking of battles, those 2 Volkswagen teammates ran line astern and side by side for much of the opening round as well. Looks like that's going to continue. It's so evenly matched in Sasol GTC this year. And that's a nice move by Rowe down the inside. At turn 9, double apex corner. The first one's quite tight, opens up the second, and then they run down the hill towards the mine shaft. Here's the GTC2 battle. The Volkswagen Golfs are 1, 2 and 3, but the Minis are in the game here. The newest manufacturer to Sasol GTC. Here's Hodges. There's the leaders, so Bonafide closing in, and that's a wild moment from Moss. Loses the rear of the number 38 N-Gen Extreme Audi. You never, ever are left wondering with how this guy is driving the car. At round 1, it was 110% all the time. He went for every gap he could, and he made it work most of the time. There's Mandla Matakani up the inside of Trevor Bland once again. This time he holds onto the spot. Robbie Walk in the 41 BMW working his way through after that spin at the start of the race. We ride with Bonafide. What a performance down in Cape Town. It was exceptional. And now Ferré, speaking of exceptional, he's one of the best talents in South African motorsport, one of the most experienced as well. But Simon Moss is doing his level best to hold on to 5-car freight train. The fight for the minors in race 1. Great battle. 2 Volkswagens locked together. Hodges in front of the number 11. And Rowe's been steadily improving. Good qualifying performance from these cars. Still lacking a little bit in race pace perhaps, but that will come over the course of the year. We've lost MVR off the back of this freight train as well. So Michael Van Rooyen was in and amongst this. He just dropped off the back of them in the last lap or so. So we're left with 4. Dicing for 3rd through 5th place. Big lock-up. The 38 Audi's in trouble. Big lock-up. But he holds on, Moss. And Ferré, frustratingly, isn't able to get his way through. These two have become very familiar over the first 2 and a bit races in Sasol GTC this year. And Johan might be getting a bit frustrated at only seeing that big rear wing and bumper bar of an Audi in front of him. But great defensive driving from Moss, who continues to hold on in 3rd place. Really a tale of 2 cities at the Terry Moss Racing Camp at round 1. Moss had a brilliant performance in the 38 car. The championship, the defending champion, I should say, Michael Stephen, had an absolute shocker and comes into round 2 with 0 points to start his title defence. But Simon Moss was really good, really consistent across both races in Cape Town. Here's Rowe. He's been impressive so far this weekend. Continues to apply the pressure, and we go back and have a look at this GTC 2 battle. It's just settled down a little bit now. Trevor Bland has just lost the back of Mandla Matakani's number 44 car, and meanwhile out in front is Keegan Masters, who was so good at round 1. 2 victories in Cape Town in a very competitive opening round, and GTC 2 has got the real potential to be a star of this year's series. The racing in round 1 was thrilling, and as those 2 minis get up to speed as the season goes on, they develop their new cars, they're going to get faster and faster. Here's Stephen, down to turn 1. He's got dramas here. He's got problems. It looks like the car's shut down. He's trying to refire the car, and I don't think there's any electricity in that car because the dashboard's turned itself off. Gennaro Bonafide goes to the lead, and Michael Stephen, more bad luck goes his way. He drops back to second place, but there was no light in the fire under the bonnet of that Audi as he went down into turn 2. He's up to speed again. And now he's not. There's a serious issue here in the NGen Extreme car, and his teammate's going to gobble him up. Oh, he's just got to limp this thing home. Surely Michael Stephen cannot have 3 DNFs to start the year. It's all gone wrong for the defending champion. Hodges through. And Stephen now limping home. Rowe goes past in the 11 Volkswagen. And car number 1 goes from P number 1. He's off the podium. And more dramas for the defending champion. If he didn't have bad luck this year, he would have no luck at all. Here's a look back to GTC 2, the number 12 Mini still going along nicely. Repaired car, often uncertain after a massive repair whether the car will perform at the level it was or whether it will be reliable. But a great job by the Signature Motorsport team to get that car fixed, and that's a shame for Michael Van Rooyen. He's been really fast and really competitive this weekend. But coming up later on, we've got race 2, which is a reverse grid affair, so that will work in his advantage. A DNF now, but at least he'll get himself towards the front of the field for the final race of the weekend. So last lap, there's Johan Ferrari. 2 third places in the opening round. The EPS BMW has been really solid. Off the road goes Moss. Big moment in the Audi just in front. But Gennaro Bonafide, who was second for the opening 7 laps of this race. The defending champ had problems. And now the winner of round 1 will come out of the final corner at his home track, the scene of his first victory last year. He is now 3 from 3. Gennaro Bonafide wins race 1 at Kyalami. And Keegan Masters, he's also had a brilliant start to the season. He takes out the opening race of GTC 2. Terrific stuff at the home of South African motorsport. Bonafide, Moss 1 and 2 as they were in round 1. Johan Ferrari 3rd. Hodges, Rowe, Walk, Stephen and Van Rooyen rounding out the top 8. And in GTC 2, it's Keegan Masters in front of Mandla Matakani in a 1-2 for the Volkswagens.
Oh, look, unfortunate for Michael Stephen. I had a good start, got next to him up into turn 1 and just hanging around the outside and managed to stick in behind him. And I thought, let's just go. You know, I know we had a good pace, so myself and Michael pulled away from the rest of the field, thankfully. But very happy with the win. Look, another win. You got to be in the race to bag the points, and look, inherited a win. But I'm not going to complain. That's 3 in a row.
Coming from 6th to 3rd, I'm very happy, and then obviously getting 2nd. The speed's definitely there. I'm not worried about that. It's just I need to put a lap together. I think you'll see I had a few moments, but I think it was quite entertaining.
Yeah, the car was quite good in the soft tyres. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time last year on the soft tyres either. So for me, it's quite newer than other guys. I at least got 2 races behind them last year. So for me, it was the first time I did quite a lot of laps on the race. I think last year I didn't manage to do 3 laps or so. So you could feel actually the grip. So it feels more like a race car now with the softer tyres than the hard tyres. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and getting to grips with the soft tyre and get on top of it. Yeah.
Well, the first lap, Trevor, was on me, but then Then I think he started to look behind him at Manla because Manla was also on him. And then I just carried on pulling. The team did a brilliant job. I mean, we got a 1-2, so the team were definitely up there. And yeah, I'm super stoked.
Well, congratulations to Gennaro Bonafide on his 3rd straight GTC win. But it's not all smiles in pit lane right now. The reigning champ has a lot of work on his hands if he's going to make it out for race 2. Let's catch up with Michael Stephen.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. It hasn't been a great start to the year in terms of luck. Can't run out of any more because I don't have any. But yeah, you know, had a good start, held off Gennaro the first lap and managed to pull away quite comfortably. And I think, yeah, 5 laps into the race, as I brake for turn 1, the system shut down. So unfortunately the dash, you know, stopped working. But that controls the gear shift. So I tried to reset and, you know, Gennaro got past and I got going and caught him again. But, you know, just the problem got worse as we went on. So we've done a bit of a hot wire solution for the next race. We won't have a dash, but we've got gears. So hopefully we can go out there and recover that win that we lost in race 1.
Well, the championship winning team isn't the only outfit in pit lane that works well under pressure. Our newest manufacturer has had a very big 3 weeks to prepare their mini John Cooper Works entries after what was a forgettable opening round at Cape Town.
It's on a different scale to the accidents that I've had before. Yeah, it was very unfortunate. I mean, all the hard work that the team put in and it was thrown away in one turn.
You know, the cars arrived back on the Monday morning. By 10:30 the car was stripped already. 12 o'clock the guys from Santon Auto, they came to collect the car, and then all the panel beating started. The big thing that broke was the gearbox that was broken, turbo, because there's not a lot of space inside the engine bay. So when it had that accident, it broke a lot of parts. But the guys came to the party mini to help us to get the parts here as quick as possible. Obviously there's also a few gremlins that comes up after a crash like that. I think we're 98% there. Obviously he had a collapsed lung that he had to look after as well, so he went every 3 days to go and check and see if it's better. So we got it all clear on Monday this week, so he could race this weekend. But I think, you know, we had a chat to him, and it's just to calm down. These things happen. We didn't need that in the beginning of the year, but I think that's motorsport, and we have to deal, and it builds character, and you know, at the end we will come out stronger, I think.
There's no doubt that they wouldn't have liked to have experienced what they've been through, the mini team, but wow, what a comeback, what a recovery as we get set for race 2 in GTC2 here at Kyalami. Here's the grid: Smallberger on pole, Chris Shorter alongside him, Liebenberg from 3rd, Trevor Bland from 4th place, then Mandla Matakani, Keegan Masters and Ian Stevenson, who had engine dramas in race 1. He has to start this one from the back of the grid. So a competitive field in GTC2. It's been amazing racing so far this year, and we're underway. The final race of the weekend. Sasol GTC cars out in front, but the battle we're going to be watching is this reverse grid affair in GTC2. 9 laps the distance, and everyone clean through turn 1 and turn 2, the opening part of this race. There's Trevor Bland. He's been amazing this season. The excitement machine, the results in terms of wins haven't quite yet flowed, but man, he's been good. The Mini is still in the mix. This reverse grid affair will certainly help their cause. Gets them some track time out in front. And this amazing Signature Motorsport team have just been learning and developing. Bland now looking down the inside of Chris Shorter and grabs the spot. Shorter will try and fight back the old over-under. Here's Keegan Masters, race 1 winner. The 2 Volkswagen started this one from the back, but looking to make quick headway in this. So 2 Minis, 2 Volkswagens, factory teams scrapping it out as they run down the hill into the bowl. Terrific racing. The 2 Minis stay competitive. Keegan Masters goes through though. Mandla Matakani, importantly for him, has already got past this little battle group. So he's got track position early in the race. We've seen that that's been pretty important in GTC2 so far this year, is getting yourself to the front of the field, and if you can, work your way forward. So under all sorts of pressure is Liebenberg, 2nd in the Polo Cup last year, but with Signature Motorsport came across to this mini program. And as we've documented already, it's been full of trials and tribulations, but hopefully the results will start paying off. Masters gets shuffled out wide there at the final corner at turn 13. Matakani, meanwhile, down the inside of Bland, who has to give him a little bit of racing room at turn 2. Up the hill now, right, then left, and then into turn 4. It's a great bit of road, this fast and flowing circuit. Very wide, this redeveloped Kyalami track, so there's plenty of racing room, as these guys are finding out. They continue on. It's almost 3 wide. The 2 minis are hunting in packs in this one. This is by far and away their most competitive showing. And Keegan Masters finally gets in front of both of them, but gee, it took some time. Charles Smallberger drops a spot. The 15 car. He's a great little driver. Was 3rd in GTC2 last year. One of the factory cars from last year is his mount for 2017. It was run by Mandla Matakani last year. Won 2 races last season. And the only 2 races Daniel Rowe didn't win last year. Proof that GTC2 is a great stepping stone for the Sasol GTC Championship, because Rowe's doing a really good job in the factory Volkswagen this year. So maybe Smallberger or Matakani or one of these drivers, perhaps more, will be up in the big league next year. Now down the inside goes Masters. Turn 13, grabs a spot from Trevor Bland, who will fight back on this long run. Down to turn 2. That's 1. It's just a kink. They don't lift for that. Bland on the left. Masters has a look across and has to surrender the position again. But this is pretty much what we've seen from TB all season long so far. Just a massive, massive amount of fight. And that's what we're liking about GTC2. Production-based race cars. 1,275 kilos is the minimum racing weight. 17-inch wheels, controlled Dunlop tyres. About 210 kilowatts, and everyone pretty much even across the field. So it really is a level playing field. And this stepping stone up through the ranks into Sasol GTC. But what a drive for Mandla Matakani. He's been yet to win in GTC2, but this is a big day for South African motorsport. He wins his first race. And it's a brilliant drive in a reverse grid affair. Well done, Mandla Matakani. Smallberger gets home in 2nd place. Masters from the back to 3rd. Bland, Shorter, Stevenson and Liebenberg in 7th place. What a race, what a result. A terrific drive for Mandla Matakani. A short break from Kyalami, and we'll come back and hear from a very happy winner. Welcome back to Kyalami, our coverage of the Sasol GTC Championship. That's your Race 2 GTC2 winner. His name is Mandla Matakani.
Me and Keegan were sleeping a bit at the start, but I guess it was pretty fun racing with everyone. And Trevor wasn't easy, but the minis really gave me and Keegan a tough time. It's good to have them in the class, and they're getting up to speed nicely. But all in all, it was nice to race with everyone else and around Kyalami as well, which we really love. And I'm just very happy with the result.
Yeah, no, I had to work hard for that one. And we got a good start and then managed to keep it in 2nd. Trevor was pressuring me, and I had to work hard to stay in front of him, block here and there. And then Mandla got past him and started to attack me. And I just couldn't hold him off. And yeah, but we will settle for 2nd. It was a good result.
A really good result. They're celebrating on the podium in GTC2. Terrific racing, and this really has been a highlight of the 2017 season so far. Here's how the points stand after 2 rounds. Keegan Masters on top, Bland in 2nd, Smallberger 3rd, Matakani making moves, he's P4. Well, it's almost time for the final reverse grid race of the weekend. There's our Race 1 winner, Gennaro Bonafide. And there's Daniel Rowe, who jumped up from GTC2 last year after winning the title, his first in production cars. Before we head to the grid, let's find out more about the differences between the 2 classes that make up the Sasol GTC Championship. With South Africa having an extensive history of motorsport, yet suffering dwindling numbers in recent years, the Sasol GTC Championship took on the challenge of not only helping grow the sport as a whole, but to foster a new wave of driving talent. That's where GTC2 comes into play, catering for the less expensive, production-based race cars, where drivers emerging from the junior categories can perfect their craft.
I think the South African motorsport landscape always wanted a feeder category and a ladder system from the junior formulas to the GTC formula. GTC2 was conceptualized from the old production car championship. We felt it needed to be made a bit more cost effective, more affordable to younger drivers coming up through the system.
And that's exactly what Volkswagen Motorsport has recognised by entering multiple cars across both classes.
I think from a Volkswagen point of view, we wanted to nurture talent and provide a platform for the champions out of Polo Cup. And if you look at the lap times GTC2 is doing, it's right in the middle. So it's really preparing the youngsters for that, for that seat. We're seeing it working now. Matthew and Daniel both came through Polo Cup. Mandla Keegan came out of Polo Cup. So the program is working for us, and that's really why we're doing it. It's to nurture talent and also for transformation in South Africa.
With both classes competing together in the same races, and in the case of Volkswagen Motorsport sharing garages and engineering expertise, how do the different race cars compare?
From a visual perspective, you've got aerodynamic changes. You can see specifically that the GTC2 cars look more as your road cars. GTC2 runs a 17-inch Dunlop semi-slick. GTC runs an 18-inch slick, obviously based on the supercar Dunlop tyre. Under the hood, it's 2-litre turbocharged engines. GTC effectively has a aftermarket turbocharger. GTC2 has a stock standard OEM turbocharger. Intercoolers must be stock standard, where GTC has modified componentry. GTC runs a transaxle gearbox supplied from Albans, which is again the same as the supercars gearbox from Australia, whereas in GTC2 they run stock standard OEM supplied gearboxes. The only modification they allowed is a limited slip differential.
Despite the Sasol GTC field boasting some of the biggest names in South African motorsport, the two-class format ensures that the potential for future stars to compete will continue to grow.
We mustn't underestimate the young drivers, and I think it's up to us as teams to really build and nurture them and get them into the top form of motorsport in South Africa.
So the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit, we're fortunate enough to come here twice this year. Our first visit has been spectacular so far, but this reverse grid race, the first ever in Sasol GTC history, could just add to that level of amazing. Michael Van Rooyen starts from pole position alongside Michael Stephen, Robert Walk and Daniel Rowe on the second row of the grid. Hodges, Faree, Moss and Bonafide. That's what you get for winning race one, Gennaro, right to the back of the field for race two. So he's got the job to do in this one, the championship leader. Amazing job between races for Terry Moss Racing and Michael Stephen to repair car number one. And he's flying old school in this. Electronic dramas in race one. The dashboard's been taken out of this car. He is driving by the seat of his pants. As we run down into Crowthorne Corner, second gear, left-hander at the bottom of the hill. And it's Van Rooyen who leads them through. So the Rustenburg Steel car leads his first laps in Sasol GTC. Here's Bonafide. That's the job in front of him. Look at the cars lined up that he has to pass. He does lead the championship, and he does have a solid margin, though. That's working in his advantage. Johan Faree wasting no time. Down the inside of Hodges in the Volkswagen, gets it done. And here goes Moss. Never afraid to make a inside move. What about the outside this time? He's been driving superbly, and his championship position reflects that. Great move. The Engen Extreme outing around the outside of the Volkswagen Jetta and gets it done. And there's Bonafide in a position he is unfamiliar with at the very back of the field. So Michael Stephen thrashing to get this car fixed. So they've taken the dashboard out, that electronic drama they had in race one. So no tachometer, no gear shift indicator, driving by the seat of his pants. A little bit of fisticuffs there in the middle of the pack. Daniel Rowe into the back of Robbie Walk in the BMW. And that might actually cost him some momentum. Faree with a bit of a hip and shoulder. Good catch there by the 11 car. And now down the inside goes Moss. That's a big move. from a man who makes plenty of them. And it might not work for him because Johan Ferree's got a great run out of the corner. And now our leader is under pressure. Michael Stevens in the toe of that bright yellow and green BMW and looks down the inside at turn 2. So there's a battle for the lead and a three-way battle for the miners behind them. Already this reverse grid race is delivering and Michael Steven gets himself in front. Johan Ferree is now 4th. Here's Bonafide up the inside of the V-dub, gets it done. Good pass. And down the inside goes Moss. He and Johan Ferree have been inseparable since lap 1 of the championship this year, and their battle continues. It's been the strongest start to a season for Simon Moss, who on his own is a champion race car driver. Things didn't go his way in season 1 of Sasol GTC, but he's been driving brilliantly. They did a lot of testing before this round, the Terry Moss Racing outfit, down at the Aldo Scribandi circuit in Port Elizabeth where they're based. Now he goes down the inside. He is last of the late breakers, and that's another great move on Johan Ferree. But Ferree gets the over-under, will retake the spot. More great racing, and now Bonafide will look to get a spot on the V-dub. Past the Volkswagen he goes, down the hill to turn 11. The drivers call it the bowl. It's a great corner, a right-hander in second gear. And then they climb towards this final complex in turn 12 and then turn 13. Van Rooyen gets a move. Robert Walk gets gobbled up. There's Bonafide and Rowe. Gee, the intensity level is as high as we've seen it this year in Sasol GTC. Hugely competitive racing. Leaders go through. Meanwhile, the fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th continues to wage on, and it's headed by Moss in car number 38. The two Volkswagens run line astern as they've done for a lot of this season. And Johan Ferree, who hasn't quite been able to work his way forward perhaps as quickly as we thought, given his pace so far this year. Here's Walk following Van Rooyen, who's having a really good race. It's been a really tough start to his season for the man who came into the championship halfway through last year, completed the final few rounds, and finally some results starting to flow for MVR. Meanwhile, Bonafide, Ferree, a great fight down the hill from Daniel Rowe. Terrific racing, and Rowe looks to the inside of Johan Ferree, and he gets it done too. Left it to the very end, but got the spot. It's right with Hodges, who's able to get up the inside and follows him through. Is he going to get the move on his teammate? Oh, there's a little bit of contact. Roll off the road. Walk goes past Van Rooyen. It's all happening. So Michael Steven leads the way. There's the battle for second place now. The number 41 Sasol BMW going really well. Robert Walk under pressure from Michael Van Rooyen. There's Moss just in behind, so he's running 4th place. He's been able to work his way forward very nicely. Then we go back to Gennaro Bonafide, the championship leader, who in his rearview mirror has these two squabbling Volkswagens. Van Rooyen not giving up here. He can see a podium finish coming his way, all going well. And he wants to find his way past Robbie Walk, who's going nicely in the number 41 car. 9-time single-seater champion. He's currently holding on to P2. All the focus has been on his teammate in that VM Innovations run Sasol BMW team, but now it's time for Walk to have some time in the spotlight. Michael Steven doing an outstanding job pulling away. We've now got a 3-way battle for second place. 3 different teams locked together, the final spot on the podium. And the championship leader, Bonafide, is coming at them as well. It's been great to watch these teams get up to speed on the soft compound Dunlop Sport Max tyre. Michael Steven, probably no surprise, jumped on it in qualifying. An amazing lap earlier on this morning to grab pole position for race 1. But it was the first time they ran this soft compound tyre, which generates more grip in the corners, better power down. No power down for car number 11. What a shame. And the Volkswagen pulls to the side of the road, and Rowe will take no further part in race 2 after a pretty stout drive. That ongoing battle with his teammate Hodges. Oh wow, Ferrari off the road and into the fence. You could hear the scream of Dunlop tyres in the background. Big off, and he's out. He's done. 3rd in the championship coming into this. So what happened? Oh, big impact. Here's the view from the back of Johann's car. Matt Hodges behind. Just lost it all on his own. Out of control and into the fence. And Johann Ferrari is out. And now up the inside, Moss. On Van Rooyen, who's out wide. So MVR is holding on. He's doing everything he can. He's just dropped to 4th place. And now Bonafide looking to get himself to 2nd. The Volkswagen parked on the side of the road there, down on the entry to Crowthorne Corner. So no overtaking there under yellow flags, but Bonafide's been able to work his way forward. With a couple of laps to go, now he's behind Moss, and he's telegraphing his intentions. Tapping the rear bumper bar of the jet black Audi in front. But not able to get through yet. Hodges has got the grandstand view of this. Goes Bonafide. It's been a great drive through the field. Really measured. And we've seen this a couple of times this year. Michael Stephen at round 1 had to carve his way through from the back after those engine dramas in qualifying. He made some decisive moves, but if you're calculated, you can make it work. And Bonafide's just kept his nose clean in this race and has been able to work his way forward. And that's what champion drivers do. 2nd last year, points leader this year. After round 1 and after the first race here at Kyalami this weekend. So fighting for 3rd spot now. His teammates just a little bit further up the road, and the defending champ has disappeared. Whoa, Van Rooyen goes all on his own. Unlucky turn 13 for car 95. Maybe just a little bit too hot, lost the rear. Part of this learning process on the Sportmax soft tyre. Where's the grip level? Well, they didn't know until this morning. Moss has had a drama down at turn 2. Speaking of grip levels, he didn't have enough of it down there, and Bonafide will go through. He's on the podium, Gennaro. Or is he? Because Moss, we know how good he is at an inside move. Keeps the boot into it. Couple of Dunlops off the road. Doesn't matter. Great racing. But a great drive through the field for Bonafide. We need to mention the job that Robbie Walk's done in this race in car number 41. Been racing a long time. Raced BMWs in the production car series. The results haven't flowed yet for him in Sasol GTC. This has been his best drive by far. Down the hill, Stephen. Through turn 10 and into 11. That tight 2nd gear right-hander. Then they climb up the hill at this amazing remodeled Kyalami circuit. Dramas. You give the guy a rap and he's gone, and almost in unison, Moss does it as well. So Walk from 2nd, Moss from 4th, both spin at turn 12. Double waved yellows in the background, understandably. High speed bit of road, 4th gear corner. They both ran out of traction at the same time. And you couldn't have choreographed that any better. Wow. This race just keeps throwing it up. And there's Walk. Just on the corner exit, and it was exactly the same for Moss in the back of the shot. And Hodges finds himself having to drive through Operation Desert Storm there. He got through, and he'll get himself further towards the podium with that move as well. But now Bonafide, what a free for him. The refs have come up good for him. He's got clear passage, and damage limitation for him, bearing in mind that Michael Stephen is a long way down the championship order relative to where Gennaro is. But we should mention the drive by this guy. Doing it old school, no dashboard, driving by the seat of his pants in car number 1. And Michael Stephen's now got 4.5 kilometres to bring it home and record the first victory of his Sasol GTC title defence. Bonafide second, Hodges third now. So a real chance for him to get on the podium. Another driver to have suffered a tough opening round at Kyalami. There's Robert Walk, so he's bounced back after that spin. There's Moss after yet another storming drive through the field. Unfortunately, that spin has dropped him down the order. But the man second in the championship will consolidate that position with a good points finish here. And sometimes in races like this, you've just got to finish. And what a race it's been. A coming-of-age story for the Sasol GTC Championship. Thrilling racing. Oh, smoke. There was smoke mid-corner there. Thought it might have been a tyre rubbing on a guard, but it wasn't. It was dramas for Robbie Walk. And he's got issues after a really stout drive. And he's gone, no, that's Bonafide. Gennaro Bonafide's gone around. The championship leader's thrown it away on the final lap. He was second. He's dropped the car off the road and he's spun. It'll cost him a podium finish. Not so for Michael Stephen, doing it the old way. It's his first win for 2017. The defending champion is back, and what a way to do it. And the first win of the year for Terry Moss Racing as well. There's Matthew Hodges, the Volkswagen team, on the podium for the first time this year. A great result for them. So it all unravelled for the Sasol BMW team at the end there. Robert Walk had smoke coming from his car, and Bonafide spun. He'll get the checkered flag, but the championship leader is furious. What happened, Gennaro? So we're on board the 32 car, down the hill into turn 11. What does he do? Oh, maybe a little bit too much curb. All on his own. A big spin and a stalled BMW. A big moment for Gennaro Bonafide. He'll cost himself a podium finish in an amazing Sasol GTC race. Michael Stephen the winner, Hodges second, his best result of the year, and through all that, Moss gets himself on the podium. Extraordinary stuff. Championship points, Bonafide in front, Moss still second, Johan Ferree next, but look at Michael Stephen. He's fifth and climbing up the order. And there's Gennaro Bonafide, and you don't need me to tell you how he's feeling right now. It's a different story for Michael Stephen, though. He gets his first win of the 2017 season.
Yeah, it was a bit tricky because I didn't have gear cut, so on the way down to turn 1, I actually missed a gear, and he managed to get away a little bit. So end of the lap, I caught him and got past him, and from there it was pretty much plain sailing. Got into the front end and led to the end. But a big thanks to the team, Engine Extreme team, and the guys in between the race, Koos, Cornet, Hayden, Reggie, Lionel, big effort from all of them, and also to Steve Green who climbed in and helped. It wouldn't have been possible without all their commitment, also leading up to the race. So really chuffed. The season really starts for me from here, and look forward to the next round.
The first 4 laps were just crazy. There's no other words to describe it. It was good fun. We struggled a bit with power, so for us it was a bit damage limitation race that. But to come away with the podium, for the team it's a good result. It's good points in the bag, and we finished, which was key. So we take this forward to East London and we'll work on that.
Yeah, the reverse grid was good. It brings some excitement to it. I really enjoyed the race. It was, as you can see, I've got dirt all over me. Michael went off Van Rooyen. I followed him, and it was just an exciting race for us as well inside. 2 or 3 laps from the end, Robbie, I saw something went wrong with his car, and I think he was leaking some oil and going into the little kink where you don't want to go off. I think I've got some of his oil. I just turned in there, and the next thing my whole car just let go on me, and I was just praying not to hit the wall. I just kept it flat and managed to get a third. I think, yeah, I have a very good weekend for me, and yeah, I'm happy. We take it to the next round, got some valuable points.
Congratulations, Michael Stephen, on his first win of 2017 and claiming those vital championship points in his title defence. So, with 2 rounds down and 7 to go, we hope you'll join us next at the East London Grand Prix Circuit. Round 3 of the Sasol GTC Championship will be held on Friday, May the 19th and race day Saturday, May the 20th as part of the Extreme Festival. Well, we can't wait to see you again next month because this championship is just going from strength to strength. Until the next time, take care. Bye-bye.